In this video, I will show two ways to get an equation from a linear relation shown on a graph. We can tell that these lines represent linear relations because they are straight lines. Let's first look at the red line. Now, the red line, let's use a table of values to figure out its equation. So we'll start with x's relationship to y. So if x is 1, which is here, then y is 1, 2, 3, 4. If x is 1, y is 4. If x is 2, then y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if x is 3, many of you can see this coming, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it's 8. And most of you could be able to see a pattern now, is that as x increases by 1, this one here has an increase of plus 2. So this number, without counting, we know must be 10, and we could verify that. So how do we use this to get an equation? Well, we know that our y is going to depend on what our x is. So our y is going to become, remember that plus 2 that we found? Is going to become plus 2x's, and the difference between 2 and the value of y when x is 1, the difference between 2 and 4 happens also to be 2. So there we have our equation. Y is always going to equal 2x's plus 2. Let's test that. And we can test that by putting in one of these numbers. So let's try this one. Y should equal 8 if we have two groups of 3 plus 2. And those of you that are good at mental math can look at that. Two groups of 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. Y is indeed 8. So then we know that this is the proper equation for the red line. All right, let's try another method. Let's see if we can come up with the equation without doing a table of values. Sometimes a table of values is really difficult to do. If you look at the green line, it's very difficult to find out exactly what the value of y is when x is 1, because it's negative 1, not quite negative 2, but somewhere in between. So how will we calculate this? Here's how we can do it. Let's take a look at this line. First of all, we know that y is going to equal a negative number. We know that because it's in a downward slope, as opposed to before, at the red line, it was in an upward slope, so it was a positive number. So we know it's a negative number, but how much? Well, for every 1 I jump, it drops down, okay? But for every 2 I jump, it drops down 1. So therefore, every time I jump 1 over, it's going to drop a half. So we're going to go 0.5, or you could use a fraction if you wished, 0.5x. Y is equal to minus 0.5x. Now, we usually have a number on the end. Notice this. Where does it cross the y-axis? It's when y is equal to minus 1. So the equation is y is equal to negative 0.5x minus 1. Now let's test this. We'll take a look at this dot right here. Okay, so that's when x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When x is 8, then y should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y should be minus 5. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. Y is equal to minus negative 5 and x is 8 minus 1. Okay, negative, negative a half a group of 8. A half a group of 8 is 4, so that would be y is equal to negative 4. Negative 4, take away 1 is equal to negative 5. There we go. It worked. So we can find the equation of a line without using a table of values.